So we'll get this started tonight, Zoom Rock Room, and I think we do have a couple of new people in the room tonight. Did a little advertising this week and on Facebook, and I did send out a couple of new invites. And once you're on our list, you always get an invite. Unless you tell me otherwise you don't want to be invited, and then we'll just take you off the list. But free to be here, and hopefully you'll have a good time tonight and actually learn a little bit too. So. The show's always co-hosted by my friend Renee Widener. And Renee, I was thinking today, these funny thoughts come to your head, and you don't know why they're coming into your head, but why do they sell eggs in flimsy boxes and sell batteries in boxes where you have to get a piece of dynamite to open it? I mean,
I have
it
the
just
wonders of the world, the things that make you wonder.
it just don't make sense. And you know, think about pizza. They make pizza, it's round. They put it in a square box, and the pieces are cut in triangles. What the world is what's this about? I mean, you know, in Hawaii, why do they drive on interstate highways? Like, where do you go? You know, there is no bridge from Hawaii to California that I know about.
Why do we why do we park in a driveway?
I didn't hear the last part.
Why do we park in a driveway and drive on a parkway?
Oh, there you go. That's
I
right.
finally remembered it.
Oh my. So anyway, let's get started with our intro here. And excuse me, I'm gonna change glasses for a minute. So we will get our intro up here. And yeah, boy,
Okay.
can't believe this is the 154th. We just celebrated the 150th back in August, and this is 154. So again, for the folks that are new to the Zoom Rock Room, tonight, who is that?
I got it.
We uh, we have this little short intro where we do recognize some sponsors and make a couple of little announcements. Uh, and of course, we're always sponsored by Lair Architect, who's out in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. It is my cousin, by the way. That's why they are involved. So, designing for the future. And I believe I thanked the people last time, the last show 2 weeks ago, that uh, they did receive a nice message or two from our viewers for thanking Lair Architect for being involved. Lairarchitect at yahoo.com. And I do understand my cousin Paul is very busy with projects in Lake Havasu City area. So that's good for him. Okay. Another sponsor we have is the Buttonwood Nature Center. We always love those people out in Waynesboro, and the new property is now being used by school groups. I see various Facebook postings from Buttonwood. They're doing school programs not only on the new property, but in a couple other park areas. So if you've not been to Buttonwood yet, uh, check it out on Facebook or their website. Coming up actually this Friday, 5 to 7, you can find in fall at Buttonwood. It's kind of a like a scavenger hunt type of program, and you go out and pay $5 a person and go out and look for nature items and bring them back to the the nature center, the office, or the house, I guess I should call it, at this point. So that's one of their big events coming up. Again, check out their Facebook page, website, Retro Rocks in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and a unique shop. If you have never been to Retro Rocks, it's worth a visit just one time. Anyway, to go see Steve Hess, and they sell gems and fossils, minerals, jewelry, clothing. As it says, soaps, new and used vinyl records, CDs. Uh, it's really quite a unique store. I put this in last time for Renee, who was not here at our last show, but the cave bear teeth and the skeleton is now being displayed at Retro Rocks. We need to get over there, Renee. You know that.
We need a road trip.
Yep,
January.
we need a road trip to Eastern Lancaster. Yep. There's the inside of the shop, folks. Minerals and fossils and records are toward the back. There's T-shirts. I mean, anything musically or geologically, specimen wise, it's there. I guarantee you. The Zoom Rock Room schedule coming up. Okay, tonight we're going to talk about Lancaster County. November 4th, Professor Steve Lindbergh from the University of Pitt, Johnstown is going to has a very easy general geology quiz planned, and he actually has sent me a message to let you know that he does have prizes, which include an ammonite in a clear case, a large trilobite from Morocco, clear and cut tiger iron from Australia, Orodont bones and tooth from Buell Formation in Nebraska, and an amethyst crystal group from Brazil. So he will mail those out to the winners of the geology quiz, November the 4th. November 18th, just added, I'm going to return and do a program on the Cornwall iron mines that I just put together. I'll be doing it next week for the Lancaster County Fossil Mineral Club. It's kind of a cool program, and if you don't know what the Cornwall iron mines are, very significant mine, both historically and geologically. Lots going on at one time at Cornwall before Hurricane Agnes came in 1972 and kind of made the big pit and the mine shafts look like Niagara Falls. Then December 2nd, you don't want to miss this one either. Sim Sutter, retired from the Pennsylvania Geologic Survey, is going to do waterfalls in Pennsylvania. So if anybody does waterfall trips across the state, you might want to tune in. You may hear about a new one that you don't know about, or obviously recognize a picture of one that you were at. I know um, there is a room member who's not here tonight because I know he's in Hawaii right now, who has done a lot of waterfalls in Pennsylvania. So if you know somebody that might want to do a program, let us know. We will contact them. While I'm thinking about it, I just saw on Facebook today that the Philadelphia Magazine uh, has recognized the Edelman Fossil Park, our program from the last show, as the number one reason to cross the bridge into New Jersey. So they got a nice award, nice recognition. The reason to cross the bridge across the river to get into Jersey is to go to the Edelman Fossil Park and Museum. So you all that were here for the program last time, uh, he did a great program for his first time ever on Zoom. So anyway, uh, this Saturday is the rock swap and sale at the South Mountain Fairgrounds, 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. It only costs you $1 to get in if you just want to go and browse. And if you're into minerals and fossils and rocks, uh, it's a great place to actually pick up a lot of cool stuff. Really cheap, by the way. Okay. So I know Steve Lindbergh will be there on Saturday, peddling some of his stuff from the University of Pitt in Johnstown. So come on out. I'm not sure if I'll be there yet or not. Uh, Seeing what the rest of the day is going to hold for me before I do have to be someplace Saturday night. And Renee, this is you.
Oh, all our fun things coming up in November. I can't believe it's November already. I just want to get through Halloween weekend at the park this weekend. Speaking of Halloween, Jerry, I'm pretty
Uh-huh.
sure my house is haunted by a
Oh,
chicken. It's a poltergeist, a foul spirit, if you will.
oh boy.
I'm planning an exorcist to help it cross to the other side.
Yeah.
In the Halloween spirit. So, I know we have all kinds of fun stuff coming up in November. If you're out near Hanover, you can catch me at the park. I'll be there all winter long.
Yes, you will be. A lot of cool stuff. I love the Lost in in the Moss title.
Yeah. Actually, Boss is going to be my theme at my Forest of Dark Treasures tent Friday and Saturday night.
And you're gonna fill the bill November 1st, huh?
We are, yes. I'm really excited about the Scat Chat, to be honest. I
Oh,
haven't done a Scoop on Poop program in years. We're going to make animal poop. I'm super excited.
okay.
Me and my homemade Play-Doh.
And you history people, November the 15th is the park history program. Uh, Learn about what the park was all through its history, including the Mary Ann Furnace, by the way. Uh, it will be a program coming up after the new year, on the new new thinking of Mary Ann Furnace, courtesy of Renee and I. There's a new story out there, some new stuff that has been researched, and I hope to get to the bottom of it by springtime. I'm going to know all the answers about Mary Ann Furnace. But
The race is on.
Cador State Park is an active place, and like Renee said, this weekend is their Halloween extravaganza at the campground. You said
Think there's still,
there's a few tickets left for Friday night, right?
yeah, there's a few tickets for Friday night. Saturday night sold out. So
Wow.
when you got to grab them early.
Huh. So yeah. All right. Cador State Park in Hanover. Update on Comet Lemon. Uh, is there anybody in the room that has seen Comet Lemon? You can just speak out or put it into the chat if you would. Um, it is growing in brightness, which is the prediction for another week or so. It's say until the end of October. Uh, right now, it's not too hard to find. Up here at the top is the Big Dipper, and I'm pointing at the handle. And being what October 21st, it's about roughly right here right now. So you're almost down below the handle of the Big Dipper. 2 more days, it's going to be kind of a easier target. You just find the bright star that's kind of down below the Big Dipper handle. Just follow the handle around in its arc to Arcturus. That bright star, then the comet's going to be basically right there. Okay, so it will be getting brighter. It's going to be marginal if you can actually see it with your eye. It depends on your surroundings, actually. If you have a real good northwest sky, low, your chance of seeing it with the eye is going to be good. Otherwise, you'll need a pair of binoculars. Telescope is too much power to really see it. So, lemon is, in fact, today is its closest approach to Mother Earth. You
Is
all
there a
do.
time of day that's better to see it, or a time
Uh,
of night?
oh, they're saying about an hour after sunset,
Okay.
which is like right now, right?
Yeah.
But it's cloudy out here in York, so yeah.
Yeah.
The other one really hasn't lived up to its expectations. It's in the southwest sky. It's getting higher, but it's not getting any brighter. Uh, I really haven't seen any pictures of that one. Here's a new one of Comet Lemon. Somebody just took the other day. Uh, it was tracking the comet and not the stars. That's why the stars are kind of have the star trail with it. But it's a I've seen a lot of pictures on Facebook. People are getting good pictures of it with all kind of cell phones up to uh, telescopes that are made for astrophotography. So go out and see Comet Lemon if you can. You have about 15,000 years to wait until it goes back or comes back again. So anyway, um, yeah. So speaking of Halloween, um, where I went to college in North Carolina, Catawba College, um, it's been a known fact for many years that the library is haunted. Okay, and by a Mrs. Reed. Mrs. Reed was a longtime employee of Catawba College as a librarian, and it turned out to be that the archaeology museum, where I hung out a lot, particularly in the middle of the night, um, was in the basement of the library. And oftentimes it wasn't anything for us to hear a book cart go rolling across the floor above our heads, at 11 o'clock at night. And the library closed at 9. Uh, my archaeology professor, Mr. Cooper, testifies that he did talk to Mr. Reed one time. I did have an experience. The the biggest experience I ever had is I was actually walking with a security guard, and we were at the front of the library, and we had just walked around the building. We were walking away from the back of the library in a grove in a stand of pine trees, and it's kind of dark back there, and we both at the same time got the feeling that somebody was looking at us. And without saying anything to either of us, we both turned around to look at the back of the library, and here was this ghostly face looking out the window at us. And the security guard, I know this is not a joke. He got as white as a ghost. But yeah, so that was my experience. I think is seeing Mrs. Reed. I heard her a lot, with the book cart going rolling across the floor, but I never had an encounter. So anyway, that's my Halloween story. All right. Uh, Renee's getting some accolades with her joke. Congratulations there. Good job. Okay. I think that's all we're going to do at this point. I'm going to get into the program. If you're ready for the program, Renee.
Ready when you are. It's your show tonight.
All right. Uh, we'll get started on the program because it's going to be a good one. Oops. All right. So we promised you uh some scenic geologic features of actually just Lancaster County tonight. This is a kind of a wrong slide, but I did take all your county ones out. But for Lancaster Countyans, we might have a couple in here from the Lancaster County, a little geology of the county. So we're going to start. This is, of course, a geological map of Lancaster County. Each color represents a certain rock type in this case. You can see the legend down here. For example, this deep purple that you see in the middle in mid Lancaster County is limestone or dolomite, and this color is just dolomite. And up north here, the yellow is sedimentary rocks, sandstone shale conglomerate. And we'll talk about the orange going through the yellow, what that is, and the southern third of Lancaster County are this is all metamorphic rocks. So just like your county to the west, there's like three chapters of geologic history that are being seen here. So we're going to start up north, and we can divide the county into what we call physiographic provinces and sections. And in Lancaster County, it all belongs to the Piedmont Physiographic Province. And then we can divide it into sections based on the topography, the elevation, the type of rocks, the age of the rocks, drainage, vegetation, um, and just to mention most of it. So in the northern part of Lancaster County, where the arrow is, this is where you find the youngest rocks in Lancaster County. And just to make our discussion easy tonight, we will say these rocks are 200 million years old. And they're the youngest rocks. Okay, these reflect when the supercontinent Pangea is starting to tear apart. And this is part of the Rift Valley. What's a Rift Valley? If you look at a world map today, if you can visualize the world map, uh, the Red Sea area is a Rift Valley today, where continents are pulling apart. They're actually tearing apart. And this is what this area was trying to do 200 million years ago. So it was steep-sided, lots of water going into the Rift Valley from water coming over the sides, a lot of rainfall. We were actually in a tropical climate at that time, like the Everglades. So we had lots of vegetation growing, as in palm trees and ferns, and we even had dinosaurs. This is the Mesozoic era. So if you want to find fossils in Lancaster County, this would be one place that you might want to go looking. There are known petrified wood sites, which I will probably bring out to you. So sandstone and shale is a dominant rock. Okay, and it has a kind of a reddish brown color to it. You may have heard of brownstone buildings, old farmhouses. A lot of the grist mills were made out of brownstone. This is the sandstone that you're seeing here. This is a road cut that's west side of Elizabethtown. So the sandstone is harder, so it's sticking out. And the area that's now undercut is shale, softer rock. So the sandstone is more durable. That's why it hasn't fallen. And the shale is breaking up and weathering away. So over at Middle Creek Wildlife Refuge, if you go to Middle Creek to watch the famous migration in late winter, and you walk the Millstone Trail, that's why it's called this. They actually quarried the conglomerate, the sedimentary rock with pebbles in it, pictured here on the left, and they made millstones out of it. And there are several pieces or whole ones still laying up at the quarry, up on the hill. And as you walk up the hill, if you notice some dirt that's black, uh, that's from charcoal. They actually deforested the trees on the mountain there several times to make charcoal for a nearby iron furnace. Actually, it was on the other side of the mountain toward Lancaster. But they cut the wood down and they made charcoal out of that. So that's at the Middle Creek Animal Refuge. Here's a piece of a rock. We call it a fanglomerate. Okay, a conglomerate, I just showed you, has rounded pebbles. A fanglomerate, or actually a breccia, Breccia, has angular rock fragments. Notice most of these are angular. They are not rounded. So they've not been transported in water very far. So, and actually most of these rock particles are pieces of limestone, like out of the valley, like where Route 30 runs from Columbia to Lancaster. And they were picked up and eroded by the stream, put into the Rift Valley, into mud, the reddish brown mud, and over due time, that all became a rock. We call it a fanglomerate because we know now that these were formed in what we call an alluvial fan, which was, if you look at it from the top, a top view, an aerial view, look down on it, it looks like a fan shape where sediment was being carried down over the side of the Rift Valley, the Rift Wall, I should say. And when the water's running fast over the wall, it's carrying a lot of big stuff. But as soon as it hits the bottom of the Rift Valley and it's flat, it has to drop the big stuff, like the big one right there in my pen. So it forms a alluvial deposit, and they're very thin. They're only like 200 feet wide on the surface, but they are pretty cool looking rocks, particularly if you can cut and polish them. And that's happened in Lancaster, uh, not too far outside of E-Town. A farmer, actually, his name was Mr. Unkst, quarried the fanglomerate on his property and took the rock to a saw in Middletown, and they cut and polished the rock for coffee tables, tabletops. Very beautiful rock. In the other than the petrified wood and ferns, you might be able to find these little shells called clam shrimp or ostracods, and they're common in a lot of the limestone. They can be missed very easily because they are so small, but they are fresh water. There's been a debate up until 2008, a big debate about are these rocks, were they formed in brackish water or fresh water? And these presence of these fossils that I and Dr. Cuffey from Penn State discovered, put a hand stamp on it saying this is fresh water. So those fossils helped us out to get an article published. Up around Aberdeen, north of Elizabethtown. If you are a trail bike rider, you like to ride bikes, get off at Aberdeen, start at Aberdeen and go toward Mount Gretna. You'll go through this little ridge. This is a ridge, a rock called Diabase, Diabase. It's an igneous rock. It came up through the sedimentary rocks late in life within this geologic period of the Mesozoic. As Pangea was pulling apart, our Mother Earth was getting injured. It was Mother Earth was being fractured by the pulling apart, right? So later on, magma came up through those cracks to heal Mother Earth back together. And that magma cooled inside the Earth into this rock called diabase. This is a great little exposure. Um, Everything else around it are sedimentary rocks, which are no longer being exposed there. But so the durability of the diabase has made this little cut. Oops. Here's a closer view of a school group I had there. Diabase is very, very durable. If you've ever been to the, of course, the Gettysburg Battlefield, Devil's Den, Little Round Top, that's also Diabase. So it's nicknamed Ironstone. Some people may have ironstone on their property. Uh, it's very durable, very hard. Hit it with a hammer, the hammer comes back and hits you in the face saying, "What are you trying to do?" Governor's Stable. Anybody ever been to Governor's Stable? It's actually a private land, but they do allow visitors. It's an incredible little diabase field, not too far from the Susquehanna River near Falmouth. And Governor Stable, again, look to see the diabase boulders. And it's almost like a devil's den sort of thing. People have been there rock climbing it. Not that there's any huge high things to climb, but they do practice uh, rock climbing there. All right, so now we're going to move on into the Piedmont Uplands section. Uplands means that it's not really high in elevation, but there is no flat land. Okay, and we have several pieces of the uplands. Um, Over here is Chickies Ridge and Chestnut Ridge together, and then we have the one on the east side of Lancaster County that's called Welsh Mountain here. And a matter of fact, the southern third of Lancaster County down here in the green is also considered the uplands section. So we're going to only take a look at the two that have the arrows right now. And if you go on the east side of Lancaster County and visit Money Rock County Park, you'll find this beautiful quartzite rock. Quartzite is a metamorphic rock. Used to be sandstone, born at the beach, but it was put under heat and pressure through our tectonic movements and changed into a new rock type called quartzite. And this is the major rock exposure at Money Rock County Park. It got its name supposedly from Civil War times when people in Lancaster County were afraid that the Confederates were going to get across the river. So they supposedly took their valuables and hid them in the rocks here at Money Rock. Is supposedly how it got its name. Over in the west side of Lancaster County, along the river, if you've not ever been to Chickies Rock County Park, which is actually also along the northwest Lancaster County River Trail now. Chickies Rock is a classic rock outcrop to go to. Um, Not really for collecting much of anything, but to look at the geology. You can spend a whole day there if you have a geology class. First of all, it's called an anticline, which I have written there. An anticline is an arch-shaped fold. And if you can see the whole rock, which you really can't get a good picture of, it actually was pushed up about 400 million years ago into an arch shaped. And as it was being pushed up by tectonic events, it all did not move quite at the same speed. So there actually are some geologic faults, cracks in the earth where movement has taken place. I'm pointing out a fault right there where you can see on this side the layers are actually going this way, and on the right side of the fault, they are going this way. But the Chicken Rock, for one thing, it's a fabulous anticline. It's one of the best anticlines in the middle Atlantic states. Also at Chickies Rock, we have ripple marks formed again. This was sand originally that formed at the beach. You go to the beach, you've been at the beach this summer, you know that there's ripple marks in the bottom of the ocean. Here they are preserved in 541 million year old rock that are exposed on the north side of Chickies Rock. Kind of easy to get to if you know where you're going. Uh, Also on the top right, if you notice, look at the lines. There's two directional lines on this rock. There's lines going this way, and then there's actually lines that are coming in this way. Here's one right here that intersect. This is called cross bedding. So there's actually two directions of wave current coming in, depositing the sand at the ocean. And again, if you go to the ocean and you watch the ocean, uh, indeed, a lot of times there's two directions of waves. One might be coming in uh, this way, and the other might be coming in this way, called cross bedding. And the bottom right, that two right there, that's probably the most significant thing at Chickies. That's called a scolithus worm tube. That's believed to be a worm burrow of a marine worm that lived at the beach. That was his home. We have never seen the animal, the actual worm, because worms don't fossilize. They don't have any hard parts. They decay away. But from all the work that's been done by paleontologists looking at these tubes, they will they testify that these were marine worms. And they're actually named from Chickies Rock. So if you go online, look for Scolithus, Skolithus, it will say type site for Scolithus, Chickies Rock, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, USA. And they're also a dating tool. Although they still live today, when you find them in Pennsylvania rocks, 541 million years old. So again, if you find them, and you can find them at Pine Grove Furnace, for example, in Cumberland County, that rock is the same age. Iron mining. Lancaster County had its share of iron mines in certain sections of Lancaster County, mostly in the central part and the southern part. This is one that I really praise, the Lake Grub Nature Park. Uh, it's a co-partnership between Mountville Borough and the West Hempfield Township, where they have taken the Grub Lake, and it's now a nature park. Does have a pavilion there and a trail that goes the whole way around. I've done several geology programs there in the past and the mining history of Grub Lake. So it's really cool. You cannot collect there, although you see iron ore laying everywhere on the trail. They don't want you to be picking that stuff up. All right, the Piedmont Lowlands section coming up here, right there. Okay, this is basically about kind of where Route 30 runs, comes across the river into from Wrightsville to Columbia to Lancaster. And actually, the lowlands section does have a northern extension pretty far into northern Lancaster County, up heading actually the Elizabethtown area. So it's a much wider uh, valley in Lancaster than York County has. Predominantly limestone and dolomite going on. So we have there it is. There's the second part up there. So we have there's a few quarries operating in Lancaster County. Rohrer's Quarry near Lidditz is taking the limestone out of the ground for agricultural uses like lime, concrete, asphalt construction, road bases sort of thing. The Weaverland Quarry, which is up east of I just lost the town there. But in the northern part of Lancaster County, Weaverland Quarry has some incredible structure. You can see how the rock here has been tightly folded. Actually, it's been wrapped up almost in like in a circle. sort of thing. So, but this is all limestone. And over at Reams Quarry, which is east of Elizabethtown, uh, which is still operating again now. You can see how the rock's been bent and twisted again from tectonic events. And in fact, a lot of this rock, without getting into a lot of detail, when there was a collision between plates 320 million years ago when Pangea came together, this crust, this limestone, was moved like a caterpillar tread, where it was running, the tread was going, and then it actually uh, rolled under itself. And we see effects of that here and actually further north up around Stilton. Uh, we find where the rock on Stilton is actually upside down because it was on the bottom part of the tread. So it's incredible structure going on there with for geologists to figure out what happened. Here's a piece of folded limestone at Royer's Quarry. You notice how it is rounded. It got folded up. Okay. And luckily, the quarry got that out and has that sitting alongside that they can show groups the tectonic forces. How this rock did get bent, twisted. One fossil that's found in this area in the lowland section, particularly in the shale, if you can find where the shale is, it's a trilobite. Okay, this is a marine animal. This is half of a trilobite, actually, the head and part of the thorax, the part of the body. But Lancaster County particularly is known for some incredible trilobite specimens. There's several collectors out there from Lancaster that have phenomenal collections. If you ever go to the North Museum in Lancaster, you need to make an appointment to see it, but they actually have a great collection of trilobites in their storage unit. They don't have them on display. And as a matter of fact, there's been two species of trilobites found in the world only in Lancaster County. And these animals are dating back to 515 million years ago during the Cambrian period, which is a very, very old period. And I always talk about trilobites because they just appeared in the fossil record. There was no indications earlier on that we know about at this point that trilobites were being evolved or trilobites were being, thought about. They just suddenly 515 million years ago showed up in the fossil record. Where did they come from? So that's still kind of an interesting little thought. Where you have limestone, you have sinkholes. There have been some sinkhole issues in Lancaster County. First one that comes to my mind is in Columbia, Pennsylvania. They've had several houses destroyed by sinkhole activity. There are several caves that are between Columbia and Mountville and a little bit east of Mountville, uh, where they're sinkhole derived. You can get into the cave through a sinkhole, which has now been covered up, but still accessible. I won't go any further than that. You can also find in certain rocks these laminite pseudomorphs uh, going across Route 30. And you just before you get to the Royerstown exit, the ridge up on your left-hand side, uh, I think they're still not, I think that now they're building some more condos there. They had built a church right there on the slope of the hillside, but now I think they're building some condos close to that church. But that region right there, you can find a lot of these limonite pseudomorphs. What they are, they were pyrite crystals at one time. They were nice, shiny gold color, and they were laid out they're laying out in the field, laying out in the open, and they rusted. So it takes out the sulfur, replaces the sulfur with oxygen. Now it's iron oxide, but better known as rust. And they keep the crystal shape of pyrite, but the chemistry is really limonite. Another place that you can find these abundantly is off of the Fruitville Pike. Before you go, actually at Fruitville Pike and Delp Road on the northeast corner, and I'm not sure if the orchard is still there or not. But in that orchard, you can find some nice cinnamors too. All right, now we're going to continue down here to the upland section of Lancaster County, the big area. As I mentioned, these are all metamorphic rocks. These rocks were closest to the collision when Pangea came together, when Africa collided with North America. So these are the rocks that got pressure heated, put under pressure, actually buried. We know a few miles deep, and they became metamorphosed into new rock types. So if you look at the Piedmont in southern Lancaster County, or even in York County, there's very flat, very little flat area. It's really a rolling hill terrain. And that's why it's called the uplands section. So if you drive down 222 or 272, you're always going up or down a hill, pretty much. The major rock is called a schist. It was shale, but as I said, it went under metamorphism with heat and pressure. The clay in the shale got changed into a mineral called mica. So the rock becomes schist. So if you see a piece of schist, it will be shiny because of the mica in the rock. Okay. And this is actually some quartz sticking out right there. Quartz is very common within the metamorphic rocks because the rocks were fractured during the collision, and hot water carrying silica came up through uh, Mother Earth in the cracks, cooled, solidified, and formed quartz veins. So they're very, very common. Those are very common. Here we are standing on some schist near Holtwood. The gentleman is Dr. Charles Schoenberger, professor emeritus at Millersville University. He's the earthquake specialist, seismologist. He is. I give him a lot of credit. He taught me a heck of a whole lot of stuff. And he's now retired and living in Lancaster County. But he kind of took me under his wings and taught me a lot about seismology and just geology in general. And this is Mary Ann Slago on the left. She and I did a lot of projects together when I was still working at York County Parks. He worked for Lancaster County Parks. So we actually did a lot of programming together jointly on geology and did a few articles together too. The Peach Bottom Slate does go through southern Lancaster County, ironically through the little village called Peach Bottom. How about that? Okay. And if you don't know, the Peach Bottom Slate is the best building slate in the world, more notably for its fine quality coming out of York County across the river around Delta. In my opinion, the rock slate in Lancaster County is uh, a little bit more metamorphosed than the good slate in York County. Yes, there were slate quarries in Lancaster County, but they didn't produce the amount of slate as York County did, or even Hartford County, Maryland did. No, there were quarries, and the earliest use of the quarry of the slate, I'm sorry, were tombstones. And just show you how good this slate is, Mr. Roberts died in 1866. And look at the hand carving of that. It looks like it was done yesterday. If you're acquainted with Lancaster County, north of this area, there's a church called the Chestnut Level Church. Very, very old cemetery. They actually have very old slate tombstones in there dating back into the 1770s. They don't look anything like the one I have pictured here. They're very primitive. Uh, they were hand etched with the name on and dates, but they're still holding up. Okay, so in York County, I just show you this because this is a good example of a what a slate quarry looks like today in York County. This is the Funkhauser's quarry, which is the largest uh, scar in the in the ground. This is a combination of three quarries that actually combined. They kept getting longer and longer, and finally they just uh, combined into each other. And it's about 3/4 of a mile long. These walls are about 50 feet tall, down to water. Water depth is ranges from 25 feet to 75 feet, depending upon where you are in the quarry. Uh, Old pictures, these are always cool, you know. A quarry in Delta called the Humphrey Quarry. You will see there the hoist. They're hoisting out a big slab of slate heading to the saw house. Very dangerous work. You can see the ladder here. That's how they got from one level to another level. The Welsh played a huge part in developing the peach bomb slate industry, showing us Scott Irish people how to quarry slate without doing mine shafts. And in one place that has used the peach bomb slate, you may have been there. Biltmore Mansion in Asheville, North Carolina. The roof is from the Delta area. We um, My historian in Delta knows which quarry it came out of. I right now can't tell you that answer, but the slate roof is something to see if you do go to Biltmore. Pay attention. The Vanderbilts wanted the best slate in the world for our roof. So this is actually a picture on the right that they loaned to me. Train cars bringing the slate in for the mansion. All right. Um, in Southern Lancaster County, also, other than the Peach Bomb slate, there's another rock called serpentinite. Serpentine. Okay, a serpentinite. It was magma at one time. It was not lava. It was magma, very deep magma. In fact, it was probably we now know it's probably down within the mantle of the earth, not in the crust. It was very deep in the mantle. It's a very basic rock. Very very little vegetation grows on serpentine or serpentinite. Here's a great example. This is along Black Barrens Road in extreme southern Lancaster County. I'm on serpentine. You have the pitch pines growing here, and that's about it. Right across the street, here's this schist. You got crops growing, you got hardwoods growing out there. So this is a great example of showing the difference in vegetation. You can actually fly over Lancaster County, southern Lancaster County, and see where is the serpentinite versus the schist, just based on vegetation. And then we get into the barrens. This would be called what we call barrens. Again, very few species of plants grow in the barrens. Uh, right on the Lancaster Chester County line at Nottingham County Park. That's the barrens. Cool to go see the barrens. The geology there is unique with the serpentinite. They had some chrome mines there where they're actually quarrying the chrome. There it is, actually right there. Um, so if you get to eastern Lancaster County, uh, and you want to see the Hers potato chip factory, Nottingham County Park is right beside the Hers potato chip factory. Worthwhile, and there actually is a geologic guide to Nottingham County Park. It's really well worth the trip if you are into geology. Okay, serpentinite. Here's a geological map. Okay, XS stands for serpentinites. So these are all serpentinite pockets. This is also where you can find talc, soapstone. Indians found the soapstone and they carved the soapstone in the bowls and other things. So this is extreme southern Lancaster County. In fact, the bottom of my slide is the Mason-Dixon line. So 222 is right there. So the Cedar Hill Quarry is in the serpentinite, no longer active quarry, but it's a very famous quarry for minerals. A huge variety of minerals have come out of the Cedar Hill Quarry, and the one right next to it called Penn Mineral Materials, which I don't know is open at this point. There was uh, unfortunate activity that happened there with rockhounders not listening to words say no trespassing. So I think right now Penn Mineral Materials is closed off to collecting because some people just did not listen to what the word no trespassing means. So, but there's serpentinite minerals are very special, um, and they're kind of rare worldwide average. So, if you have a chance to pick up any Cedar Hill minerals at a rock and mineral show, or you see them online, you might want to buy them if you are into mineral collecting. Black Barons. This is more of a historical little thing. There's a little crossroad in extreme southern Lancaster County again called Black Baron. There was a hotel sitting at Black Baron back in the 1800s, early 1900s, and they had a spring that they proclaimed if you put your feet into the spring, it's the fountain of youth. So I'm actually on the edge of now the dried up spring, but you see the benches, the steps, you might want to call them, a part of the circle going around the spring where people used to sit and put their feet in the water and supposedly get younger in age. Uh, as you can see, it's getting to be kind of overgrown. I actually did not know about it until I was working in the area and somebody brought that to my attention. Like, did you ever see Black Baron? I said, huh? What's that? Uh, there is some metabasalt, volcanic lava, folks, along Fishing Creek, which is a creek north in again southern part of Lancaster County, uh, down below Holtwood Dam. In fact, there is some also metabasalt at Holtwood Dam on the York County side, if you know what you're looking at. So there were little pieces of volcanic lava. This dating back to about 500 million years ago. Here's the Holtwood metabasalt over in the York County side. I'm not sure if this is actually there anymore since they did their more recent renovations along the shoreline at the dam. And actually, this metabasalt wasn't discovered until like 1991. Somebody, we just always assumed it was like all schist along the Hookwood Dam. And then somebody took a little closer look at it and said, that's not schist. I believe that's metabasalt, which means it's been changed. Meta basalt. So anyway, all right. Complexity of geology. Here's a great example. This is the rock schist. And if you look at the rock, any good eyes can see that there's actually two directions of lines running through this rock. Before I put my marks up there, I'm gonna just want you to see those two directions. See if you see them. I'll help you out now. So there's a line going that way, and the other line is going that way. So you have to ask yourself, I'm going to take this away. You're going to ask yourself, which one of those two line patterns is the more obvious one? And if you say it's that one, you're right. This is a little bit more fuzzier to see a pattern too. Now, what happened here is that this rock was exposed to two different events of plate tectonics. The first one happened 420 million years ago when a volcanic island chain collided with eastern coast of North America and attached themselves on. It altered this rock and probably actually made it from the shale into the schist. That's the lines that are going this way. But then 320 million years ago, the big wreck, Africa and North America coming together to form Pangea, altered the rock, pushed the rock, deformed it, and formed the lines that are going up and down. So it's very similar to me walking through a snowstorm, putting my feet in the snow, and then Renee comes behind me and she's stepping into my footprints. She's destroying my evidence. This is what happened here. The Pangean wreck destroyed some of the evidence of the volcanic island arc wreck. So then we as a geologist have to figure out what belongs to what. And so this is the complexity of southern Lancaster County and also York County. All right. Mining. This is at the Peckway Silver Mine. Again, this is a Peckway Silver Mine. If you have not ever been there, it's a nice little trip to southern Lancaster County, not too far below Millersville, really. It is a township park. They're preserving the mining history there. And where Mary Ann's standing, that's basically this was the opening to the big mine shaft, which is now still doored shut. Um, I'm at a place called Burnt Mills, which is out the road a little bit further toward the main road. It was a small lead prospect where they actually did mine lead, and there was a little bit of silver amongst the lead. So visit the Peckway Silver Mine. Again, there's a little self-guiding geology brochure that goes along with your walk at numbered posts. You're supposed to be looking at various things, either with the mining or there's a limestone kiln there also. They also took out chrome out of the southern Lancaster County. Chrome is a very rare commodity, particularly in the 1800s. And this is all that's kind of left of any of the chrome operations anymore. This is the red pit right on the Maryland line. And but they actually were mining the chrome. Again, a very rare commodity coming out of the earth. And here's the Woods Chrome Mine was over by the Octavera Creek on the Lancaster County line in eastern Lancaster County. This was the largest chrome mine in operation. You can see how deep the mine shaft went, 250 feet down. It's now water filled. I know the property owners do not allow people on the property. Um, you would be able to collect some chrome minerals if you were able to be on the property. And finally, the Gap Nickel Mine, which is in it's if you know where the Gap is on Route 41, with the town clock, the Gap Nickel Mine is just kind of south and a little bit west of there. They mine nickel, another rare commodity in the 1840s to about 1910, 1920. $7 million worth of nickel came out of the area. And if you remember a number of years ago, there was a Army school shooting that took place in the Gap Nickel Mine. And actually, the school building was just uh, just north of where the mine sat. And Wind Cave, that is just outside of Peckway and on the hill overlooking the Susquehanna River. It is a tectonic cave. It was not formed by groundwater etching out the limestone. There's no formations. It's strictly where the rock split and opened up. And it's like configured like a letter H today. If you imagine the letter H, uh, that's kind of what the cave is. There are two stories to it. You can actually go upstairs into a tighter hole, but this is open to the public. There is no signs or anything. Owned by the same people that own the Muddy Run. And there is gold in some of these creeks. Here is Fishing Creek. I talked about the Metabasol along Fishing Creek a while ago. Well, there's also gold in Fishing Creek. And just south of Fishing Creek in Peach Bottom is Peters Creek. Peters Creek is the best gold prospecting creek in southeast Pennsylvania. If you can find permission to go into the creek from a landowner. In the old days, and I'd say old days, I'm talking about in the 1970s when the more recent gold rush started. Um, People didn't care along Peters Creek. You asked them for permission to go into the creek to pan for gold, they wouldn't mind it. Yeah, help yourself. Well, then more and more people came, and more people began to junk up their properties with trash that they left behind. And today, chances are pretty good if you go to a landowner along Peters Creek, you'll be greeted maybe with a shotgun. Seriously. So anyway, that's where you can find the good gold. And the Honeybrook Uplands is another Piedmont Uplands area, uh, very close to Middle Creek that we talked about with the younger rocks up here. But the Honeybrook is kind of special because it has the oldest rock in your count in Lancaster County. Okay, at this rock is 1 billion at the B, 1 billion years old. It's called a gneiss. It's a high grade metamorphic rock. It's alternating light and dark colored bands in the rock where the light colored minerals went into their own little zone. Dark colored minerals went into their own zone. And this actually represents ancient continental crust that was part of what we call Rodinia, which was a supercontinent that formed down around the South Pole about 1 billion years ago. And part of that is now part of the Honeybrook Uplands. This road cut is actually just the east of on the east of the Middle Creek. So, weather and erosion has affected our landscapes. The river has its own story. Many of you have heard the Susquehanna River story from me with weathering and erosion, what's going on during the Ice Age. and the tremendous down cutting that happened. Tributaries flowing into the Susquehanna River on the Lancaster County side. Most of them have waterfalls to them, at least a small waterfall, because of the rate that the river down cut versus the what the tributaries were able to down cut. With the Ice Age, Susquehanna River was the only basically flow out of the meltwater, mile high wall of ice melting 50 miles to the north of Lancaster of Harrisburg and 50 miles northwest of Harrisburg, and the water came gallivanting down the river. Serious down cutting, lots of erosion. You can kind of see here that the river has down cut through the ridges. Somebody put it very well that I use in my Susquehanna River program. Somebody said it this way, that the landscape has evolved around the Susquehanna River. Because I right now the river is dated at 350 million years old. It is one of the oldest rivers at 350. I'd like to take the age at least to 400 million. I think it was here. You remember when I talked about the volcanic islands colliding with us 420 million years ago? I think the river was here at that point. If that's the case, the mountains were to our east. The river would have been flowing the opposite direction it is today, because there were no Appalachian Mountains yet. They weren't formed yet. It was all ocean where the Appalachians are today. And then the mountains to our east wore down. Appalachians were pushed up when Pangea came together. River played teeter-totter and flowed the other way, but the channel was already developed. And the landscapes were already starting to form. Uh, and, uh, but the important part, the channels were already formed by the Susquehanna. Very easy to reverse direction and flow. And there are places along the river, both sides of the river, Lancaster and York County sides, where you can go and in this case, this is a cultivated field about 200 feet above the river level today, down near Cherry. It's on Cherry Hill Road in southern Lancaster County, where you can find rounded quartz pebbles, water-worn quartz pebbles. Why are they water-worn? Well, the Susquehanna River was up there at one time. It left what we call the river deposits, the river terraces. And some geologists that have mapped the area, they have included the river terraces on their maps. So the Susquehanna River is a very steep river. In fact, it is the steepest river in the world, folks. From Harrisburg south, you can see that it drops off uh, about 100 meters from the Indiana confluence down to the bay. So it is the steepest river in the world, and that's why everybody wants to build a dam or impoundment along the river. And then get down around Holtwood, you have what's called the deeps. There are some very incredibly deep uh, potholes in the river, again, due to its tremendous downcutting during the Ice Age. There's a picture of it. That's another field trip for you to do. You can actually get out onto these islands. I don't call them islands because you can walk out onto them, but you can appreciate the force of the river and see the potholes, the channels that it has formed. So that's the end of Lancaster County. I will say that in my backdrop behind me is a little Indian rock. That's a rock that has the petroglyphs on. that the Indians carved in there, believed to be about 1,000 years ago. And we've had Paul Nevin and several others on our shows in the past who are experts on the petroglyphs. They actually are in Lancaster County. The river is in Lancaster County. When you get to the shoreline, then you're in your county. So that's all I had to say about Lancaster. If you have any questions, speak up, put them in chat. Renee will find them. Whatever.
Well, thank you, Jerry.
Boy, that was tough. Whew. I haven't worked that hard for a day.
Fun fact on the Serpentine Barrens, when I was in college, I actually got to do vegetation surveys out there. And you're right, not a lot is there. What's there was really neat. I don't remember the names of them anymore because that was quite a few years ago, but it was really neat. The difference just a few feet would make, once you got off of the Barrens.
Yep. It's
It's
pretty
actually
neat.
the only place I've ever seen a green snake, too.
A green snake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been on some geology trips, yeah, in my path.
You are well traveled, that is for sure.
Tomorrow I'll be at
Amazing.
Chickies Rock with your college. Some of you might remember Dr. Pomeroy was on here with her Spain trip, uh, taking her class to Chickies Rock tomorrow to do our annual, well, I should say our semi-annual trip. Yeah, they have a lot to offer, Lancaster County. At Mary Ann Slagle
Amazing.
and I used to have a little fight back and forth. What county has the best geology? She got tired of me. She now moved to New York State.
Well, it's nice that you finally got to join us, Sandy.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Wow.
Um, I- I've communicated with Jerry a few times and I've watched reruns, so to speak, but this really interested me since I moved over here to Lancaster County. And I remember you introduced with the Pennsylvania Master Naturalist, Jerry, you did the tour around South Mountain area
Yep.
and really taught us a lot about that. So one of my questions is the South Mountain, is it the basalt that's really, really old? Is there anything that old in Lancaster County?
Actually, the basalts in Lancaster County are just about the same age as South Mountain.
Okay.
They are related.
Okay. And is the rift that you were talking about the same one that Gettysburg, Newark one that you
Yep.
is the one is that goes through Lancaster County? That's what you were talking about?
Yep. That all goes to Lancaster County. The Mesozoic basin, as we call it.
Okay.
Yep. It runs from Frederick, actually into New Jersey. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thanks for being here. Good to see you again. Zoom Rock Room actually was started in April 2020 as a result of
Yep.
COVID.
Yep. Yep. My sister and I attended together several times. So
Okay. So yeah, we still have a happy family here, and I saw the numbers when I stopped sharing. It's a good number for us tonight. So appreciate that.
well, thank you very much. And I'm glad you record them because I think I'll watch this one again to try and there's so much detail about the map and everything. Get a better picture.
Have you seen the new geological map of South Mountain?
No.
There is it's not brand new. It's when did that come out? 2024. Yeah,
Hmm.
2024. Uh, but it's a Pennsylvania Geological Survey map 24, oh boy, I forget the number. 2409, but uh you may have remembered the name that I preached to you, the Contocton Formation.
Hmm. Yes.
That that word is really non-existent anymore. The new geologist only found like one outcrop of the Catoctin Formation, and everything else has been renamed.
Well, it's
Uh,
like the Baltimore Oriole. You got to keep some of those old names.
and I'm learning these new names that Mr. Tucker has come up with. Uh, he has a very interesting theory, and but it's a great map.
So where do you get, are they free online or do you have
Yep,
to buy them?
you can go online, and I just do a search for South Mountain geology. Uh,
And the Lancaster one that you were showing, the Lancaster geological map, where do you get that one?
that's from the state also. The Pennsylvania Geologic Survey on the website does have every county map,
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
very generalized.
Hi, Jerry. I have a question.
Hello there.
Um, Hi. Me and my friends really love, we all live in the Philadelphia area. And we all love hiking through Lancaster County. The geology out there is just stunning. Actually, the picture of me and my little profile here is, it's me standing in the middle of Trout Run. It's an
Oh, okay.
absolutely gorgeous creek. But that empties into the Susquehanna. But my main question is that, when you mentioned the gold, I noticed that sometimes when we hike on some of the smaller creeks and put our feet in the water, I do notice the schist. So there's a lot of mica that comes up, but there's also like glimmers, a little like copper flakes. How can you tell if there's gold in a creek? Would that be a sediment that comes up when you walk around in a creek? Or do you have to do more work to get at the flakes?
Yeah, you got to actually pan it. You have to pan it down, and you're right. There's mica everywhere, but when you're panning for gold, the mica will wash out very very easily because it's the lightweight. The gold is the heaviest mineral, so what you want to find is you want to find the black sand, which is magnetite in most cases. And if you get down to the black sand, uh, then you pile the sand up into a little pile on your in your pan, and then you wash the black sand down with a little bit of water. The gold will stay up where the black sand was because that's the gold is 1.5 times heavier than the magnetite. So you will never see it if you put your hand in the creek and bring up sediment in your hand. You'll never see the gold because it's so small. Peters Creek's where I've seen the largest gold. That's 3/4 of an inch in size. I flake there, but you have to be awful lucky to find that one.
Uh,
Yeah,
thank,
you just have to, if I didn't pan a creek and I know there is or there's no gold there, if you pan a creek that I've never been in, I'll just say well, you have to go try it. I really don't know, but we look at the geology. Seems like the Peach Bottom slate has gold in it. So if there's a stream that cuts through the Peach Bottom slate, chances are you'll find the gold in that creek.
well, thanks for that info, Jerry.
Yeah, it
Um,
just try your luck if you
because
want
yeah, because some of the creeks me and my friends have been in, it's shimmering with mica and it's also shimmering with other things as well. And I wasn't aware of the gold, but
to. Okay.
if it's not gold, maybe it's something else like copper or some other mineral that has a shimmer to it that's not mica. Um,
You can find garnets in some of those creeks. Um, Pyrite would be a possibility.
I
Uh,
think it might be pyrite.
that's a possibility, and
Yeah.
they're usually in nice little cubes because that's how pyrite crystallizes. but garnets are really common uh, in southern Lancaster County creeks.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Well, thank you for the information, Jerry.
All right. Yep.
I'm going to pass that along to my friend group. So next season we head out to Lancaster for a hike. We know what we're looking at.
There you go. Yep. All right.
I would like to, I would like to thank you for um this opportunity. I don't know how I got on the mailing list, but I received the announcement and asked for the information to get in, so I'm here. How can we watch it again?
Oh, okay. All of our shows are actually on our website, which is jonesgeo.us. JONESGEO.us. And this show will be on the website within about an hour. The internet's been treating me very well here. Uh, but they actually all are on Jones Geo. Back through the years too. Yeah, go back and look at it again. And I watched a number of views of what's getting what views. So all right. Before we leave you, hopefully most of you saw your email I sent out last night about the meteorite strike in Canada. Did you see that? Uh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and my problem is when I do a group email like that, and you folks are divided into two groups on my email list because I can't send out over 100 at one time. But if I send out a group email to both groups, I can't send out any more emails at night. Comcast just says I just sent out a bunch of funky stuff. We're gonna close you down for the night. So um, that happened to me last night after I sent out the meteorite video. Anyway, um, I will have an announcement next time. There is a really cool planetarium show taking place in York, put on by the York County Astronomical Society. It's a fundraiser for them at a the only planetarium in York County left anymore in a now abandoned high school. But if you like old rock and roll music and laser shows, they started this past weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Actually, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. And you can come to the old Central High School building in North York and watch an hour or so. Like this past Sunday, we had first show was ABBA, and the second show was Elton John, and the third was Queen. But if you're really interested, you can go to the York County Astronomical Society, YCAS.org, I believe it is, and look at the announcement. You can actually buy your tickets online. I am being a host at a number of these weekends since the racing season for me is over, almost. Uh, I can give some time to the club to help them with this fundraiser. So, anyway, Renee, you got anything to say? I'm tired.
I bet you've been talking for a while, Jerry. My goodness.
I,
Well, it is National Reptile Awareness Day, so if you get a chance, kiss a snake today or something.
oh boy,
Even though it's late in the day for it, and they're all tucking away for winter.
and we won't see you until after Halloween. So everybody enjoy your candy and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Don't scare each other too bad, okay?
Don't
Um,
forget to get out and check out the comets
yeah, get out and
if you
check the
can.
comment. We want to hear a report. Yes,
It's
that's
raining right now, so I'm definitely not checking for the
oh,
comet
is it
tonight.
raining? Okay. All right. Well, we're going to let you go, folks, and thanks for being in here tonight. We'll see you.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you on
Thank
election
you.
day. November 4th is election day, but we'll see you Tuesday night, November 4th.
Thanks a lot. Nighty night.
We'll see ya.
Right.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Renee. Have a good time.
Thanks.